6:06 GMT is the time. Welcome back to Weekend from the BBC World Service. I'm Paul Henley. As we've been reporting in the news, the exact moment Neil Armstrong set foot on the moon 50 years ago has been marked with a celebration at the Museum of Air and Space in Washington, D.C. Visitors participated in a New Year-style countdown to the moment that he took the giant leap for mankind. Let's join someone hosting a party right now to celebrate the moon landing. Burke is a Hawaii-based scientist and executive secretary of the Pacific Science Association. Thanks, Burke, for breaking off from your celebration. How's the party?
My pleasure. Well, they were having the party outside, but I think they heard about the excitement of this interview, so they're all standing around me in a circle in my room.
What are you drinking? What are you drinking at the moment?
I just had a whole bunch of Tang, so I'm all good.
Okay, I can hear some party goers. It doesn't sound frantic, I have to say, which might be good news for us. There we are. Thank you. On cue. What does this anniversary mean to you and your guests? Sum it up, Burke, if you can.
Well, we're an international crowd here. I think we got two or three countries here, or the UK actually is represented, and some of the former post-Soviet states. So we're all celebrating a moment when we did something that was truly great and even really approached something that was a transcendent moment for humanity. And by we, I really mean we, humanity, did this. We wouldn't have done it if it weren't for the competition from our worthy competitors of the Soviet Union. And we did it for all mankind. So I really do see it as something that it wasn't just the United States. It was really something that humanity accomplished.
And what's the number one reason we haven't done it again since?
Well, we don't have the motivation of the space race, and so haven't felt we needed to prove anything, and the funding just hasn't been there. It's really a matter of funding and political will.
I introduced your name, the concept of this interview coming up just a few minutes ago, and said that you'd asked Neil Armstrong a question that he hadn't been asked before. What was that? You were very nervous about meeting him, I hear.
Yes, so I was going to an event. I knew that Neil Armstrong would be there, and I knew that these guys had always heard the same questions over and over again. So in the week before I was going to meet him, I thought long and hard, what can I ask Neil Armstrong that he's never heard before? So I finally came up with one, and then I got a chance to meet him at the end of the evening, and it was just me and him, and we had about 2 or 3 minutes to talk. So I said, "Oh, Mr. Armstrong, I live in Hawaii, and I know you did your geological training in Hawaii and Arizona and Iceland, some other places." I said, "Of all those places, what was the most helpful to you when you were actually on the moon?" And he looked at me and sort of squinted, and as he was sort of sizing me up to whether it was a really dumb question or a really smart question. And then he answered, "None of them. It was the moon." And I thought, he said, "Oh, no one had ever asked me that question before." And I thought, oh, I succeeded. It was great.
Well done. What major advancement in space do you imagine would have a similar impact to the moon landings in the future? Is it all about setting foot, humankind, hopefully womankind, setting foot on Mars?
I'd like to think that it would have the same kind of impact. I don't know. That's a good question. We aren't really there yet. I think in some sense we're more jaded now than we used to be, and there's a lot of unfounded skepticism about anything and everything. I like to think it would be. I work on global change issues, including climate change and biodiversity loss and these other things. So I well understand that we've got problems that we have to solve here on Earth. I think the two really important things that come out of Apollo were not just the landing itself, but one was the Earthrise photo, which really brought home at a visceral level to people around the world that we really live on an island Earth, and we had better take good care of it. And the second thing, I think, was the Apollo provided a technological acceleration for things like computing and medical sensing technology and communications and miniaturization. And so similarly, I think if we go back to stay on the moon or go on to Mars, I think, from my own perspective, I think we have a real opportunity I'll put it this way, if we can find a way to provision a crew on the ultimate resource island, quote unquote, of the moon or Mars, and provide food, water, health, power, we will also have advanced the technologies we need that we will need on Earth to face the challenges that we face now. So, I would like to see the same kind of enthusiasm we had for Apollo going forward, but we'll see.
Okay, allow my guests just for a moment to join your Hawaiian party. You know John Nielsen, right? And Emma Bullimore is here. Are you feeling the excitement, even though you weren't quite convinced about this, the fuss around this 50-year anniversary, Emma?
Yeah, I am. I think just my generation just takes it for granted, really, that it happened, And then when watching all of this stuff, you remember the danger and the jeopardy of it. It is fascinating.
John?
Yeah, I'm really interested in the people, right? I mean, Neil Armstrong, of course, at the forefront of people's memories at the moment. Very self-effacing, emphasising the collective endeavour. I mean, do we have any heroes who can populate with these new space endeavours, or is it all about technocratic solutions to these big problems, Burke, that you were mentioning?
That's a very good question. I think that we do have the kind of people who would step up and really do things for the common good, as those Apollo guys were. And you can meet them now, and you really do sense that were very genuine and pure in their motivations to do something good for humanity, and as well as the United States.
Thank you, Burke. Sure we were coming right up to the news, but thank you. I hear that you're going to wear your replica spacesuit at this party, you crazy scientists. Let's hear one more cheer from the boys and girls in Hawaii.
Yes. We're waiting for the BBC, this thing to be over, but yes, that's the next step.
Enjoy the rest of your celebration, and lovely to talk to you. Thank you, Burke Burnett in Hawaii. This is the BBC World Service.